Hello everyone, my name is Abby Bliss White and welcome to my channel. Today I'm a little bit excited because we are going to be reviewing the new Tom Ford Architect Radiance Hydrating Foundation that recently launched. This is an expensive $95 foundation. I'm going to be doing a full review of this foundation today, along with a few check-ins. I do have more dry, mature skin, so we are going to be seeing how this new Tom Ford Architect Radiance Hydrating Foundation performs on my skin. And along with reviewing this foundation, I went ahead and pulled out some of my favorite Tom Ford beauty products. So we are going to do a full face of Tom Ford. So if you are interested in learning a little bit more about this new foundation from Tom Ford, if I think it is worth the $95 and show you how it performs on my more dry, mature skin, then let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm so excited because we are playing with a new Tom Ford foundation. This is the Tom Ford Architect Radiance Hydrating Foundation. This is $95 and this comes in 40 different shades, and nope, it does not correspond with previous Tom Ford foundations. They have kind of changed up the numbers and such, so I did go in store and get matched, and I was told they actually changed up the shade range to make it easier for people, but it is causing a little bit of confusion, especially if your shade has gone bye-bye. It sort of skips over some of the other shades they had in the other foundations. So I was actually matched to 6.5 in Champagne, and in the previous Tom Ford foundation I was a 4.6 Cool Beige. I'll give you a little bit more information as we dive into that. Okay, so here is what the bottle looks like. It is very similar to the shade and Illuminate, a little bit differently. I'll pull out the other bottle here, but nice glass bottle here with the traditional Tom Ford. So a little bit different than the shade and Illuminate that, you know, has a little bit more of the kind of traditional brown packaging here. So this is a little bit more sleek and almost clean looking right here. And the highlights of this foundation is that it includes hyaluronic acid, vitamin C, and it says it's best for normal skin. This is described as a medium to full coverage, all day moisture and 24-hour wear skincare infused foundation that creates seamless radiance at every angle, lighting the face to cinematic perfection. This foundation is a liquid light with a weightless serum-like formula. It has a unique blend of skincare actives, again including hyaluronic acid and botanical oils that are going to nourish and hydrate, while the Queen of Night, a soothing night blooming flower, protects and strengthens the skin care barrier. Niacinamide helps enhance skin radiance, and dimensional light diffusing powders create a soft lit from within look. This formula includes an SPF of 50 that is a mix of chemical and physical sunscreen, and this formula is fade resistant, non-settling, non-caking, non-poring, crease resistant, water resistant and sweat and humidity resistant. So that is actually a lot of claims. I was intrigued by this foundation because it was the Radiance Hydrating Foundation. So I'm a little surprised that it's saying it's just for normal skin. Usually it'll say like good for all skin types, but it seems to, when I hear the word radiance and hydrating, I think of it being good for normal to dry skin type. But I have been testing this foundation for about a week, and we're going to be using this on my more dry, mature skin. The shade that I got matched to when I went into store, so the shades that I was initially debating between was 3.5 in, which was nude ivory. That was way too light. So if that gives you any context. Then I was looking at 6.5 in champagne, and then also 7.5 in ivory. I tend to do well in mini ivory shades. Like when in doubt, I will go with ivory. But honestly, the champagne won out just because it melted a little bit more into my skin. The 7.5 in was just a smidge darker, and I just felt like this one would be better for year round. Now I am going to go ahead and share my 4.7 Cool Beige. That's what I have in the shade in Illuminate. I do typically go for like neutral to cool toned foundations. Warmer foundations can look a little orangey on me, so you will see the difference. We're using a cool toned over here. This is 4.7, and then here is the this is champagne. As you can see, that's a little bit peachier and warmer. It is described as a neutral. 4.7 was like never my perfect shade, but it kind of worked. That's what I'm saying is we'll see what you think. You can see this one almost pulls teeny bit gray on me. And then champagne, though, when I put this on my face, you will see it kind of melts into the skin. So although they changed the numbers, I will say, I think it's a little bit confusing because I'm finding some of the shades that corresponded kind of a little bit lighter are now a little bit darker. Like I had a subscriber tell me they always wore vellum in the foundation in Tom Ford. They bought that in the new foundation and that the new formula was like a lot darker. And then I also did try the 5.0C, the Ivory Rose, which would, I thought, be the closest to my 4.7 Cool Beige, but that one was much more pink. So as you can see, this one here, yes, it's definitely got a cool undertone, but it's not super pink. It's definitely got some neutral in it. So although they tried to make the foundation easier to pick out, I do think that it's wise to go into store if possible to kind of try on the different shades. So I'm going to just pull my hair back here. Okay, so here is one pump of champagne here, and I am going to just apply this. I am using my BK Beauty 109 foundation brush here, and I'm going to hope that you can kind of see the color here, and it just sort of blended in to my skin. Okay, here is what this foundation looks like. And I used about a pump and a half on my face. So this is what it looks like. Just bringing you up close. It definitely leaves a radiant glow, but again, I don't find it to be too dewy or radiant. I do find that when I put this on at first, you're going to see a little bit of that dew, but then it sort of settles on the skin, and I want to say it sort of self-sets is what I would tell you. And one thing I noticed is that it doesn't have that lavender scent that the other foundations had. I always wondered why they put that lavender in the formula, because that can be upsetting to people's skin. So I do not see that. There is a slight scent to it, but I don't know if that's actually the sunscreen scent. It is not, it doesn't appear to be perfume scented is what I'm saying. So this is what it looks like so far. Again, I ended up going with the 6.5 in because I wanted more of a year-round color. We are going to warm up my skin with a little bit of the Shade and Illuminate product in a minute, but I am going to pop on the Shade and Illuminate concealer, and I have this one in Creme, so 2 in O. So I'm going to go ahead, put a little bit of this underneath my eyes here. And if you are like myself and picking foundation colors drives you bonkers, then you may be a little bit frustrated with the Tom Ford, because I do not feel like they exactly correspond to previous foundations. But one tip that I would tell you is that, if you're looking at the cool range or the neutral range or the warm range, you're kind of just looking at the way they're set up on the display is here's the cools, here's the neutrals, here's the warms, and then it would be from like the lightest shade, medium shade to dark tones. So that will kind of help you. And I consider myself to have light to medium skin tone, and I've always had a little bit of trouble getting the perfect shade with Tom Ford. So for today, or for this shade, we are just gonna go with my champagne. I am overall pretty darn happy with this match. I'm trying not to overthink it and go crazy. Okay, we're gonna let this settle on the skin. I will do a few check-ins for you, but we are gonna do a full face of Tom Ford makeup. I feel like I have not done that forever, and this used to be like one of my absolute favorite brands. I am gonna use this Shade and Illuminate. I have this in the Intensity 2, and I am going to apply a little bit of this contour shade here, and we're just going to warm up the skin using that right here. I'm going to bring that up into my forehead, down here, sculpt out a little bit of cheekbones here, and then get a little shadow underneath my chin here. Again, I haven't used this product forever, and it is so good. So there's just so many more products on the market like this now, so you kind of forget about it, but we're going to use this right here and blend that in. Okay, I just kind of warmed up the skin, sculpted a little bit on the face, and then I pulled out one of my favorite blushes from Tom Ford. I remember when these launched, I was just enthralled. They are still so good, and I'm using this one in Brazen Rose. This was my favorite, and I just basically am going to tap on both sides of this, and it just creates such a pretty blush here. So we are just popping on, and I'm using Nikki LaRose. This is her number 15. I love this brush. And by the way, it's automatically dark on the thing, so I think someone was like, you're using a dirty brush. I'm like, no, the brush itself is, you know, at the end, it is already sort of tan looking. So it is not a dirty brush. And just putting on a little bit of that Brazen Rose here, so pretty. And then for eyes, I pulled out the beautiful, this is the Tom Ford. These are the Creme ombres. These one have such a good texture. And this one is in Tiger Eye. And Tiger Eye reminds me of my favorite one in the traditional quads called Disco Dust. It just has a little bit of a similarity to that, but I love the cream formula. These are like a cream to powder formula. They are truly so pretty. So I am going to start over here with this sort of base shade here. And I'm again using just a fluffy brush from BK Beauty. And this one is 212 right here. And I'm just going to place that all over my lid. Then I'm coming over to this beautiful kind of peachy shade right over here. And I'm going to bring that into my crease here. And then I'm coming into this beautiful taupey shade here. It's so pretty. I love this. One right here, and I'm going to place that all over my mobile lid. It has a little bit of that sophisticated Tom Ford shimmer. This is like one of the prettiest quads, I think. Creates just like a very pretty and sophisticated eye look, but nothing too overdone. And then again, I really like that cream to powder formulation on my more mature eyes. So it just has that sort of taupe and peachy colors in here that I find so pretty. Then I'm going to come in with my favorite brush from Nikki LaRose, the number 12, and I'm going to use this as liner. I'm also going to pull out one of my cocoa liners from Tom Ford, but we're going to use a powder shadow here first. And I'm just going to press that near my lash line. Okay, you literally can leave your eyes just like this, or if you want, you can intensify near the lash line. I am using one of the Tom Ford eyeliners here, the gel eyeliners, and I believe this is in the shade Cocoa. This is well loved, so I can't quite read what it's saying, but I will link it below. But I'm just going to come in and intensify near my lash line here. And then for fun, I'm coming in with this kind of pretty little taupe shade that has a little shimmer, and I'm just going to add a little bit of that to my bottom lash line just to sort of connect everything. I really love this shade right here. Okay, then what I'm gonna do is go put on the Extreme Mascara. I'll clean up my eyebrows a little bit and then we'll have fun putting on a little lippy, a little finishing powder, and then we can talk about the foundation a bit more. Absolutely love that Tiger Eye Quad. Kind of having fun playing with all my Tom Ford goodies. And then to finish off the look, I pulled out one of my favorite lipsticks. This is in the new formula, and this one is the West Coast. So this is like one of my favorite shades here. It's so pretty. And I'm going to go ahead, put this on. I believe this is described as sort of a burnt cinnamon color. This is a deeper nude shade that I absolutely love. And as many of you know, I'm not like a big lipstick girl, but out of all the lipsticks I own, I will say that this newly reformulated Tom Ford lipsticks, this is like their classic lipsticks, is fabulous. Like, it is so comfortable. I ended up buying like so many of these because I really liked the formula on my lips. They're very long lasting. They have some beautiful shades, and I find West Coast to be a very complimentary shade. It kind of screams fall to me, but you can wear this year round. It is just a really beautiful color. So this is West Coast by Tom Ford. Definitely worth the splurge if you're looking for a good lipstick formula. And here's what this foundation looks like without any powder on my face here. It is definitely has that radiant glow. I will tell you, it does not feel heavy on the face or anything like that. I think I have been wearing like such sheer formulas this summer, very sheer to light formulas, that when I put this on, it did like, you know, make your skin look really good, but it did feel like, ooh, you're wearing a little bit more makeup. Like, I'm definitely seeing a little bit telltale signs of wearing makeup, like right through here. Let me see if you can see that. I'm not saying it looks bad. I'm just saying when you have been used to wearing such light formulas and then you put on a medium to full coverage, you're definitely going to feel like you're wearing more makeup. And then to set everything today, my favorite powder from Tom Ford is the Skin Illuminating Powder Duo. This is in Moodlight, and if you want your skin just to look completely kind of airbrushed, this is what you need. Like, this is such a fabulous powder. So what I generally do is I take my big La Mer fluffy brush, and I primarily use the bottom shade right here with just a little bit of the top, and then I just dust that Moodlight all over my face. And I just find that it gives me a slight filter. If you're familiar like with the Hourglass powders and it gives you sort of that filter, I feel like the Tom Ford, the Moodlight, is exactly like that. It's a filter for your face. So darn pretty. And then of course we're going to end with a Tom Ford perfume. I was debating between Lost Cherry and Tom Ford Café Rose, and I decided to pull this one out. And this is a beautiful rose coffee combo. This smells so good. I'm so glad I pulled this out today. This has Turkish rose and Bulgarian rose. This also has a touch of ylang ylang, and then floating through here, it's got some spices to it. I wouldn't say this is a very heavily spiced perfume. It definitely has a touch of coriander and cardamom. I love cardamom and fragrances. It adds a little bit of warmth. And then this does have some patchouli in here. I would say this is like a very clean patchouli, not too earthy. I find this to just give you this really pretty sort of soft haze. I really, really like it. If you liked the original, I think you will find this is like the light version of that. The original was a bit more deeper and sensual, and then this is sort of like the lighter, airier sort of rendition is what I would say. It is still very pretty, and I can see where a lot of people would really like this. Yes, you do kind of need to like rose. I'm somebody who does like rose. It's a rose patchouli combo with a twist of dark coffee. It really is quite beautiful, and I just kind of wanted to highlight that one because I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, but it is definitely one of their more affordable perfumes, but it truly is a beautiful scent, and it's going to kind of leave you with a nice sensual haze for the day. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to wear this foundation. I'll do a couple check-ins. I'm about to go take a walk. It's not super hot here today, but I will get out with my dogs and such, be outside in the elements, and then we can kind of do a little check-in, like a 5-hour and an end of the day check-in, and see how this new $95 Tom Ford foundation wears on my more dry, mature skin. I am back, and I have been wearing this makeup for about 5 hours. I have been outside. I have taken a walk. It wasn't a super hot day today, so not super sweaty, but I'm going to bring you up close, and we're going to take a peek at this foundation and see how it is wearing so far. And here is what it looks like so far on my face. And what I will tell you is very comfortable on the face, so it doesn't feel like heavy or anything like that. I do, as I was saying before, and this could have been the amount that I put on, but it does feel like just a little bit more makeup-y, if that makes sense. Again, I think it is because I have been wearing lighter, sheer kind of foundations, and so this is described as a medium to full coverage. And when I say makeup-y, it's just that, like, if you were to come up in person to me, you know, I feel like you would definitely be like, okay, she's definitely wearing makeup, versus like a total skin like formula. So that is what I would say. But again, it is a higher coverage foundation. I do think that I like the way that it is wearing, meaning I feel like it looks better now than when I first put it on. Probably personal preference. I kind of like lived in makeup, like once it's kind of meshed into the skin and just looks a little bit more natural. I do feel like the products that I put on top of the makeup are lasting, so the makeup isn't sort of eating it. Like I can still see my blush and such on my face, and that is what I have for you so far. You all can let me know what you think of this formula and how it is wearing as well. Okay, I am back, and it is the end of the day for me, and I have been wearing the Tom Ford. This is the Radiance Hydrating foundation. Let's see, I'm going to bring you in a little bit closer. So I've had this on for 10 hours now, and excuse me if I look a little bit tired. Kind of one of those days, but I am coming up close to show you how this wore. and hoping that you can see here. And there's always like a little right over here. I have like a little dry patch, so that's something I always look for to see if makeup clings to it. And I see a little bit of clinging to it, but not the worst I've ever seen. Like sometimes I can see it like literally kind of lifting up a little bit, like, you know, like you can see the actual makeup where you want to flick it off. So this is what it looks like here. Honestly, I have to say I think this wore really well throughout the day. I still feel like I'm getting some radiance on my skin. And as I mentioned before, I would just say, like, yes, this is a medium to full coverage foundation. I think if you can find your right shade, I feel like some of you all are going to love this. I meant to mention at the beginning of this video that I always use my own sunscreen, you know, as my last step in my routine. So even though this foundation has an SPF of 50, I consider that just bonus SPF. I don't think of it as, you know, I would put on so many pumps in order to get that SPF. Now, that being said, I like having that little extra bonus. I think that it wears really well. I didn't really find a lot of wear and tear. I think it actually looks sort of like I'm feeling kind of tired, but I feel like my skin looks sort of refreshed. I feel like the makeup that I wore on top of the foundation stayed with me pretty well throughout the day. So overall, I will say I do like this foundation. I have been testing this out for a week, and I'm somebody who can be sensitive to chemical SPF. I haven't had any issues with that. So my fussy skin has not reacted to this foundation. Now the question is, do I think this is worth $95? And that question is a little bit tricky. I am enjoying this foundation, but it's not like blowing my mind. I am super happy that they launched a new foundation that is like Radiance and Hydrating formula, so I was intrigued by it. But yes, this is an expensive foundation, so I think this is going to be for my Tom Ford lovers, where they love all that makeup and they want to invest in a new foundation. Then I think you're going to like this. Do I think that you all need to rush out and get it, that it's the best thing on the market? No, I don't. But I am really glad to have this formula. I feel like once the weather is a little bit cooler as we're coming into the fall months and I'm not wanting to wear as like sheer makeup, I feel like I may be gravitating towards this more. Definitely a nice foundation. And I do like the finish. I am glad that I picked it up. I don't have regrets about that. It is just whether it is worth the $95. That's going to be a little bit more individual for you all to decide if that's something you want to invest in. But I have been wearing this. I am enjoying it. And again, I don't have regrets. I'm just not going to give it like, oh my gosh, you guys have to run out and get this right now. That's not how I feel about it. But as usual, I love to hear from you. Let me know if you picked up this foundation, if you're planning on picking this up, what shades you are picking up. Always love to have the little give and take on my channel. I hope you found this review helpful, and I will be back with another video soon.